This is Cassandra Gaines. I'm an attorney and I'm coming to you live from Chicago, although I do also practice in Atlanta and Arizona as well. I'm a transportation attorney. I live and breathe logistics, trucking, anything that has to do with transportation. I do it, I know it, I love it. This presentation is specifically for sales professionals who are busy and want to know what are the edits I can make to a broker-shipper contract. Nominal. I shouldn't say nominal. Minimal edits, so that when my customer opens up the document, they don't just see all red and then go on to the next document. What are the most important edits to make? Now, this is subjective. It's what I think the most important edits to make. But many different people will say and have different opinions. So let's get started. Now, of course, you guys know me. I don't do technology, busy, and I do all my presentations on the fly. I think you guys will really like this presentation though. So it's my guidelines to negotiating a shipper-broker contract, and it's created as a high-level guidance for busy brokers. So like I said, this is not for contract managers or attorneys. This is for busy brokers who just want to know what are the high-level edits that I can make to get by and how. So attorneys and contract managers, you're going to see other things that I won't talk about, but that's okay, right? You are not a carrier. So, as we all know, don't sign carrier contracts because you're not a carrier, you're a broker. So you ask me, what's the big deal with signing a carrier contract? It is a very big deal. It's probably one of the number one risks it's probably the number one risk that you are accepting as a broker. So you're saying that you're a carrier and you're not. There's lots of reasons why you shouldn't do this. I am only going to give you the top two. First, if an accident happens on the road with a third-party carrier that you hired and you are sued, the plaintiff attorney may use the contract where you held yourself out as a carrier to bring you into the suit and hold you liable. There are so many factors that come into this. I'm just giving you some background into why you don't sign carrier contracts. Two, cargo. It can hit your bottom line. So motor carriers are liable for cargo damage, loss, or delay, delays. Iffy, but under the Carmack Amendment, that would apply to a broker if the broker held themselves out as a motor carrier. So don't hold yourself out as a motor carrier, but if you have to, because it happens to all of us, then do risk-benefit analysis, right? You take how much freight am I going to accept here, and how much benefit is it going to come in when I accept this risk? And also, do I have insurance coverage? So you're thinking through, is this risk worth it? Many brokers, when they are smaller and they're really just trying to bring in the business, they sign a lot of contracts and don't read them too much because they're busy. But the problem is once you get to a certain point, you're going to wish you never signed those contracts because you're going to go from making a lot of money to all of a sudden bleeding a lot of money. And then you're going to have to hire attorneys like me. And we're also going to cut into your bottom line. So trust me, try your hardest not to sign the broker-carrier contract. So, shipper-carrier contract, I'm sorry. So let me show you the edit that I think you should make. And again, we're talking about minimal edits to the contract, and you have to be crafty with the way you edit these. I'm going to give you an example. So here we go. So I apologize for the lines. I don't know why my computer's doing that, nor do I care. You guys can see the substance. You can see the edits I made. So whenever you make edits, make sure you turn on track changes. And Google that if you don't know how to do it. And I want you to cross out the word carrier and type in broker. And I want you to cross out the word perform and type in arrange for. You're going to do this throughout the agreement. You're going to consistently say you're a broker. It's going to take a long time. And you're going to have to go through the entire contract. In my legal opinion, putting in a sentence that says, we're a broker, we're only saying that we're a carrier over mere convenience, but we're really a broker. And then letting the rest of the contract say carrier does not work and is not a good idea. Second risk with your shipper-broker contracts, you don't control the carrier. We all know that's C.H. Robinson case. You don't want to hold yourself out as controlling the carrier or actually control the carrier, because then you'll be just as liable as the motor carrier. If the motor carrier you hired gets in an accident, God forbid, on the road and hurts someone, and the plaintiff attorney is savvy enough to bring in the broker, which they are getting more and more savvy, the plaintiff attorney is going to go to the contract to see Did they hold themselves out as a carrier? No, they said they're a broker. Well, let's see if they're holding themselves out as controlling the third-party carrier. Yes? Oh, great. We'll just say that they're the employer and the carrier is the employee. And that's how that works. So don't hold yourself out as controlling the carrier, especially in the contract. Now I'm going to give you an example, okay? Obligations of the broker. Do you see that I am changing the language to say arrange for versus perform? And then, here we go. I said it in the top two. Define the third-party carrier. This will reduce the amount of edits you will make. This is a trick I have. And it's going to say Shippers Freight by a motor carrier. And then you define third-party motor carrier. That way, throughout the entire contract, whenever you say third-party motor carrier, it'll mean the one you're going to hire. And it makes things a lot easier when you try to differentiate the difference between a broker and the carrier you're hiring. It'll save you red lines too. Again, we're trying to be as efficient with these red lines as possible so that we still get the business, but we're reducing the risk. Now, part two, define motor carrier as a third-party carrier. And you can see that I didn't continue through saying third-party carrier, I just said motor carrier. That's my mistake. I should say third-party carrier. Nevertheless, I want you to consistently say throughout the contract that you, as a broker, are contractually requiring motor carrier to provide those services. And you'll see how I did this with every sentence, because I don't want the shipper or anyone else reading the contract to think that we control the motor carrier. So I'm going to put in there, yes, the broker will contractually require the motor carrier. And yes, this creates a lot of edits, but it's worth it because the liability that it could expose you to is quite significant. Now we're going to talk about limiting our liability, and this is very important, just like the other ones. This is the most hotly contested provisions regarding limitation of liability, and the shipper is going to want you to be the insurance company as a broker and just insure for everything. And I say insurance as an analogy. You're going to have your own insurance, but when you say that you're going to accept liability, that means that if the shipper gets sued for any reason, you as a broker will step in and indemnify and defend and pay their legal counsel and pay all the damages that were awarded to the shipper. This could take down the house, so this is one of your highest liabilities. We're back to that accident where the third-party carrier gets in an accident, plaintiff attorney sues everyone, and it happens that the load that was tendered, the trailer that was tendered to the third-party carrier says the shipper's name on the side of it. And so the plaintiff attorney knows to sue that entity, as well as maybe even the broker. But let's just say they sue Home Depot, your customer. And Home Depot turns around, gives you the contract, and says, you agreed to indemnify and defend me. Here you go, broker. Now broker's got to go to their insurance company, hope their insurance company covers for it, and hire outside counsel to step in and indemnify and defend Home Depot, pay for all their defense, which I would say is about $10,000 a month, and this stuff could go on for 3 years, 4 years, and then pay for any damages awarded. So that's why this provision is hotly contested. I'm going to teach you the edits to make, and these are going to be the edits that if you take anything from my video, these are the two edits you're going to dig your heels in on, and if the shipper says no, you're going to sit back and think about how much money am I going to make, what's my insurance coverage, and do I really want to do this? So be careful, pay attention to what I'm about to tell you. There we go. Okay, I touched on cargo first, even though this one isn't as high risk. But it is in a way, because sometimes you don't want to tender the claim to your insurance company, or you have already tendered claims to your insurance company and you're worried about tendering too often. So make sure that you're writing in that the liability for the motor carrier shall be limited to $100,000 per shipment. And if they try to say that the broker has liability as well, limit that to $100,000 if you can. But $100,000, just remember that and write in what I've written in here. Okay, this is the top provision, and it's going to usually have that broad indemnification title to it, and you're going to see that I changed the language to broker versus carrier. You can be tricky and also say that broker shall contractually require carrier to agree and indemnify and defend, because we do. The carrier contract you have with your carrier, third-party carrier, should have an indemnification clause. You will see that I limited the language down below. You'll see by the word shipper, it says caused by. That's a key word right there, and you want to think about how can you get that word in there, because you don't want to pay for anything and everything. You only want to pay for damages caused by the motor carrier. And then I typed in up to a maximum of $100,000 million. Sorry for the different colors. I just wanted to illuminate the importance of that maximum $1 million. Some people limit it to insurance limits. There's many different ways and many different types of provisions you're going to see here. But this, just remember this, read through it, see the way I cross things out, and mirror it if you can. If not, send it to me. I'll do it for, 2 seconds. It takes me 2 seconds to do this. Okay. Cargo claims must be governed by federal law. The reason why I put this as number 4, because this is going to hit the bottom line if it's not done properly. Okay, here we go. You can see, of course, I put motor carriers assuming all the loss and damage. I don't want the broker assuming cargo loss and damage. That would stink. And of course, our shippers make us do it sometimes too. I put in shall limited to $100,000 per shipment. You guys have seen that before. But you'll also see down below 49 CFR 370 and applicable federal law. You want to make sure that that is in there. Those are the key words. Mirror everything I'm doing here. You'll see I put the Carmack Amendment in there up above. You can type it in if you don't want to put in the citation, but make sure that you mirror what I have put here, because this is very important. Now, guys, know this. The 9-month limitation, you need that in there to cover the motor carrier, because that's, even though everybody thinks it's automatic, it isn't. And then you'll see that I tried to go for 180 days versus 120. Watch how many days you have to resolve the claim, or the motor carrier has to resolve the claim. Be very careful of that. And it's important. You should probably try your hardest to dig your heels on that. Cargo claims take a long, long time. 180 days is actually, minimum. Get your insurance levels right. I'm going to go through your insurance levels, but I'm going to give you an example of what most brokers and carriers have for insurance levels. You need to reach out to your insurance broker and make sure that you know what your insurance levels are. If you don't have the proper insurance levels articulated in the contract, it could later on be a breach of contract. The shipper could say, you promised you would get $1 million in auto liability insurance and you only have $500. You promised you would get $250 in cargo insurance and you only had $100. And you want to know what really is rough about that? Is that sometimes insurance won't cover that breach of contract claim. Sometimes that might actually have to come out of your pocket. So you want to be very careful with how you articulate your insurance levels. And I might do a video on insurance because I'm very, very good at insurance, and it's really confusing for brokers. In a broker-shipper contract, you're going to have 2 levels most of the time of insurance broken down. The shipper is going to require a broker to have insurance, and the shipper is going to require the third-party carrier to have insurance. I will try my hardest to do another video so I can go through all of these. But here, high level, just screenshot this, keep it, and know that these are the basics, right? And hey, watch out for the third-party carrier insurance. Don't agree to anything more than $100,000 for your third-party carriers. That is going to be so hard to source a carrier with $250 or $500. I mean, if they want to pay the higher rates, that's fine, but most of the time they're not going to want it. So again, this is Cassandra Gaines. I love contracts, I love insurance, I love logistics. So if you need any help, reach out to me. I can handle your contracts for you. I'm very good at that and very quick. You're not going to have a huge bill from me. I'm very sensitive to that. But I hope this helps. I want to be able to hear feedback. So call me, write me, do whatever. I have my own law firm now. And let me know what you think. I hope this was helpful.